Diyos ko, I need a drink, Lea Salonga is going to go on. Ano ba kayo? Parang, ako yung kinakabahan, ako yung makikipag-usap, hindi naman kayo. No? They're toxic. There. Ang tagal. Really? Wala pa. How can you not be there? Ay, delay. It's our, it's our signal. Okay, let me go back to my page if you're back there. You're still not in my page.
I'm talking to you, so you figure that out. I'll have my coffee.
It's okay. It takes a little delay. Bakit wala pa rin, Tito Jason? Nagla-like na sila pero wala pa si Lea. That's weird. Ay, delay. It's it's our signal. There! You're there na. Haha! Okay, welcome guys. It's 3 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Uy, advanced kami because nga ang British time and American time tong guest natin ngayon. Huwag na tayo magplastikan. Ang guest natin ngayon is si Patty Dupone. Joke lang. Si Lea Salonga. Yan po. Mga tao na naghihintay. We have 13 viewers right now. For those that are early, swerte kayo because can you see the comments on the comment section?
No, I think I can turn it on though.
No, I will activate it. There, I'm supposed to activate it now. Yan po ang nangyayari pag technical po. Can you see it now?
No, I don't see anything.
But
it's okay. You can just tell me what some of them are.
So it's supposed to be on yours. Okay, Candice from Cebu is watching. Thank you, Candice. Thank you. Tell me where you guys are from, and then I will. Joel Cruz. Ikaw ba yung Joel Cruz na may pabango? Hindi ko alam. These are the weirdest things that I say on air. Okay, we jump. We're now 40.
Okay, so hello, Lea. People are there. Hello. Hi, Raymund.
Do you wake up like that?
No. I need a little help. I mean, eyebrow pencil, a little hairspray, lipstick, and my glasses are helpful though when I just wake up in the morning. Nakakatulong. Because I just wake up. It's
woke up. I know, baliktad ba yung oras because some people, because of the quarantine,
super
hours are weird.
Yeah, my hours are weird to begin with.
Okay.
I'm a night owl anyway, just by nature. I mean, I was up last night making playlists. Then I shared it on Facebook. Wala lang. It's like my own little quarantine playlist, like 19, 20 songs or something. And
in Spotify?
Yeah, on Spotify. I'll send you the link. But it's there on my personal Facebook. That's where it is.
I follow
and also on Twitter. Yeah, I know you do. So it's there. So I can always send you naman the link so that you don't have to search for it na. But so I was making a playlist.
And deprive me of something to do in the quarantine?
That's true. That's true.
Sabi ng mga tao, I have comments here. Naku, mag-nosebleed na naman tayo kasi parang English speaking. Hindi ho totoo yan. Nagtatagalog ho kami. Pero ngayon hindi kami magtatagalog. Joke lang!
Sama mo.
Ang sama ko talaga.
You're terrible.
I am terrible. Uy! We have a viewer from Paris. Her name is Jennifer.
Okay.
And then, mga buwis ito mga nagko-comment sa akin, parang you're so refined, ka-respeto ka ngayon, Raymond. Siyempre, ka-respeto yung guest ko ngayon. So, wala kayong choice. And stop texting me and because I can't concentrate on Lea Salonga alone.
Who's texting you ba?
Everybody's like giving me little private text. I have 3 sets of questions coming in parati. One on the comment section, which is now that's on the FB Live. One is on my personal page in Facebook, and the other one's on my phone.
Okay.
And mga artista ang nagko-comment sometimes dun sa
artista? Diyos ko. Okay.
Yes. Camila Villaruel is a big fan. And she says,
that I know.
Yes. And sabi ko nga, if you want, your request to actually talk to her or make a duet, sabi niya, hindi, mamamatay ako pag yan ang kausap ko. Pilar Mateo. Pilar Mateo, are you familiar? Pilar is watching us.
Okay.
She's one of those friends from long time ago.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer from Paris is watching.
Okay.
Friend of Bobby.
Yeah. Oh, Brunel? Is that what her last name is? Brunner.
Yeah, Brunner.
Oo.
It's evening in there, ano, and then she's also nalaloka na raw daw siya sa lockdown nila o sa quarantine nila.
Yeah.
Hey, kayo maaga. We started earlier than you. We are like on the second day. I'm counting. I have this calendar behind me that I crossed out like parang the ones
Okay.
in the jail, you know, but when they do, they cross out the number.
Yeah.
So there. Okay.
Yeah.
So going
Okay.
back, ang daming questions about you. First question is, which actually got me going, is that you used to
Okay.
have the Ask Leia thing before
Yeah, and ask Coach Leia on Twitter. I haven't I
on
haven't
Twitter.
done it. I haven't done it in a while. Usually I would do it when people are also watching The Voice because I would
Okay.
watch the episodes and I would get a high level of engagement na parang I get so many questions kasi sabay-sabay kami nanonood ng The Voice eh. So, but right now, well, we don't have The Voice right now. And
Okay.
I haven't actually done it in a while. Um, Wala lang. It's when the questions come really quick and it's hard and I have to look through all the questions first to
Right.
figure out which is an actual question and what isn't.
And
Because
which one is just
some of it's ano eh, some of it's ano eh, the questions that look interesting are like, okay, sasagutin ko to. Um, and then I answer directly and then we use a hashtag ask Coach Leia. Um, some of the questions are really where I remember them being pretty interesting. Na talagang mapapaisip ko na oh wait, oh nga no. And those are the questions that I tend to find parang enticing to
to answer?
answer. Yeah.
Well, some people tuned in late to their ano, and then one of them says, "Huwag ka mas pungit, kasama mo si Lea as guest." Sabi ko, okay, sorry po. Ang daming nag-ano.
Like I don't know what you're really like in life, so that's the thing.
Am I mas
This
pungit in
here's
real life?
this is the thing
Sometimes I
because
don't.
you and I have known each other for a long time.
Oh my
So
God, long.
long
Wait, do you remember
time.
the first time?
The first time we met, parang the first time I remember is parang it was Manila Hotel. You were taking photos with an old camera pa for a magazine cover and it was like in the sa harap ng ano of the what used to be the presidential suite.
Correct. That was
Yeah,
you?
that was me.
I, I don't
And
remember because
and
the
you
first
used
one,
to have a mustache.
okay, that means that was before I turned 33. Because on the age of 33, I have this weird thing that when Jesus turned 33, I will, all that shit coming in. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's not the
yeah, yeah,
point.
yeah.
Okay, stop greeting Carmina on the comment section. Kayo talaga. Carmina's watching, I know, but people are saying, oh my God, si Carmina, no, no, no.
Well,
Okay,
she's artista kasi. She's a celebrity and people know her and I'm sure she has fans that are watching
are
this. So,
watching her.
ayun. So, kaya
Okay.
hayaan. Let them get excited about her. Ano ka ba?
Yeah, I'm excited about Leia. I mean, I made her wake up. Ah! Kasi, ano oras ka ba talaga gumigising in the quarantine? That's one question we want.
Okay. During quarantine, kasi I find myself falling asleep may araw na sa labas. And
What?
yeah, as
Insomnia?
in, yeah. So a bunch of my friends are like, I've been sleeping at 5 a.m. And already my sleep schedule is like hours after theirs. So if normally they'll fall asleep mga 10, 11, you have to add like 5 hours to that. So ganun pa rin. So I'll fall asleep. It's daylight outside. And then it's like I'll sleep when I sleep. That's it. And then I wake up after 8 hours. So normally I'll get up at 2:33.
Which is about now. So good morning, Miss Lea
Yeah. So
Salonga.
good morning. Yeah,
Good morning.
I'm not following a schedule. I'm not following any sort of anything. Not a real regimen or what because it's like I'm not going anywhere. Saan ako pupunta? It's like
But you haven't been out. I mean, who does the grocery? Is it you or Rob?
Rob. Rob does it. He's the braver one, I think, of the two of us. So he's the one that goes
So, but,
out, or we'll send one of our helpers to go out, and everybody has very explicit instructions. Kailangan maghugas ng kamay. Pag-uwi, like right away after you come home, kailangan maligo. There are instructions on how to unpackage whatever we buy. But yeah, I'm like, no. I spent like a few days in the hospital at the end of Feb, beginning of March. So
why
my
is that?
Oh, I had a really bad episode of tonsillitis.
Oh
So
no.
I had to be confined. And I was actually taping The Voice at the time, so I had to miss a day of taping. They had to figure out how to tape without me in my chair. So there's going to be like a few episodes later on when they start airing them, like during knockouts, there's going to be a bunch of knockouts na I'm not there for Bamboo's and for mine. But I got to see the videos, and we have to figure out a day to shoot for the teens to get my decision on knockouts. So it's just gonna be one of those things. But yeah, I was in the hospital for like 3 days because I had some sort of weird like convulsion or something at my mom's house when I was staying with her, and I was at the dinner table. The next thing I knew, I was like, I checked out. I was like, bye.
Hmm.
So I had a high fever, and so we went to the hospital, and I was confined for about 4 days, something like that. No, 3 days. 3 days lang naman. Yeah, it was not
That,
fun.
no, that was scary. Wait, you said January
End of
or
Feb.
February?
End of Feb.
End of Feb?
Yeah.
But you couldn't be tested if you were positive then, di ba? Kasi if the
Yeah.
virus came out December last year, some people are saying that January onwards, we could have gotten it without knowing.
Yeah.
We could have
For sure.
survived. No,
Oh yeah, for sure it would have been spreading because nobody knew. Nobody had any
nobody
idea.
knew.
Na I don't think we had enough knowledge na ay you can spread it even if you're not showing symptoms, or oh you have it na pala. Kahit na
Yeah.
you're not displaying that anything was wrong. And my mom being the most one of the most paranoid
Oh,
people,
no,
she's like,
you're
no, no,
freezing.
no. Here's the what do you mean I'm freezing? Am I okay now?
Your image, yeah, your images. Anyway,
Okay, so we found out, I think, that there was somebody that checked into the hospital I was at about hours after I left.
okay.
So she was like, "Ay, salamat na lang that we were gone by the time that person had checked in." But yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
know that it was because they checked my blood, they checked everything, and white blood cells, the count was super high. Normally, I think it's between 5 and 10. It was 16. So they knew that, yeah, you definitely are fighting something. But I don't think it was this virus. No, I don't think it was that. Because my lungs were not at all compromised. I wasn't coughing. I had no respiratory
Oh,
issues. Talagang it was a fever
okay.
and a really bad sore throat. Yeah.
And
So
then wait,
imagine.
are you? Is your health? I mean, some people can go out. You said you're planning to go out. So like I'm one of those compromised people because I have asthma. I'm planning. So Jason is the one who goes out. Ikaw, are you compromised in any way? That's the reason why
Actually,
you're.
no. Save for me needing to just rebuild my immune system after that stay in the hospital because my body was pumped full of antibiotics. So everything's
Oh,
kind of, you know. Um, so as far as my health normally, um, besides allergies, I don't usually have issues. No asthma, no diabetes, no high blood pressure, none of that. Rob has asthma though. I think he had it as a child, and so he's running when he goes out. So yeah,
he's
so
covered
he's
like
he's
for that.
yeah, so he wears a mask. He you know doesn't he has a system of where to put his. He doesn't even bring his phone into a store. So where his credit card is, which hand holds what, it's like he has it all figured out.
Figure it out.
Me, I just don't go out. I don't go out, and I'm a
No,
homebody anyway to start. So even in the best of times, I don't go out.
oh, wait, before I forget, we have to thank you, Lea Salonga, for the Bayanihan Musicahan.
Oh,
You have the highest so far.
so far.
Not to downplay anybody, but you have the highest during your show that people have contributed. Thank you to
Yeah.
everybody who have contributed.
Yeah,
No,
it was nuts. It
no,
was watching
yeah,
the
it was
numbers
not.
go up was crazy.
And I saw you for the first time. You were nervous. I've never seen you nervous. I mean, other than that, what? Because one of the questions that I found noticeable in the questions they sent over is, we never see Coach Leia being nervous, but this is the first time they saw her nervous. Any other instances in your career or
Always,
performance?
always, always nervous backstage. I'm uh parang I can't keep still. I'm like pacing the floor. I'm just because I've been doing this for so long. Um, kasi sa tagal ba naman ng ng career ko, I know the things that could go wrong in a live show. I know what technical things can go wrong. So because of that, I think that kind of feeds the anxiety, the paranoia, the nerves, all of
Even
that.
more for
All of the
you.
things that I think audiences kind of don't think about. Their only focus is the performance and what they're going to see. You know, it's like, oh, the lights, oh, the sound. But because and I think a lot of artists that did bayanihan, musikahan, felt the same way. Um, that everybody was nervous because we all know what could possibly go wrong, and technology is one of those things. I mean, there were artists who needed to restart their feed like 2 times, three
Yeah.
times
Grabe.
because either the internet is going on or they have sound issues sa kanila sa setup nila. So that's happened to a couple of people. Um, so it's just one of those things. So yeah, I was nervous. I think because also I hadn't sung. I mean, the last thing in about a month, the last show that I did was in Dubai,
Yeah,
on
I
in
remember
early
that.
March 5 and 6. That was the last thing that I did, and then a week later, the ECQ was already declared. Um, so I hadn't really sung publicly. I mean, I was singing at home, but I hadn't sung publicly in like a month. So it's like, okay, are my muscles still working? I mean, is my voice still here? Is because
I
it's a muscle.
understand. Yeah.
It's like if you don't work out for like a month, everything gets stiff again, everything gets achy. So same principle. So yeah, so it's like, okay, 7 songs. This is an hour. Am I going to be able to fill up an hour? There's also that, and yeah. So I went a few
It
minutes
didn't
over an hour.
Yeah, it didn't feel like an hour. Bitin na bitin nga lahat ng people. I mean, I was bitten. Seriously, I'm not because I'm talking to you right now. I watched it twice. Because the first one was like, I'm like overwhelmed by dami. The money's coming in. I'm like, all these little emotions coming in. And like, you're nervous. And then there are comments that I'm reading again.
Yeah,
Nakakatawa yung comment section actually. But when I watched it the second time, that's when I actually I sat back and got my coffee and like, you have this peaceful thing that when you're singing, I'm rearranging my furniture again all over again. I don't know what you do, what you have over people, but literally, I finished fixing my office when I was listening to your broadcast. I'm like, sige, one more, and that's the follow-up question. Since you did it na pala, and guys, it's complicated, but is there a chance that somebody offered you that you can do another online Zoom shit, whatever?
what do you mean?
Like another performance like this, like what you did for Bayanihan, but this time just for you. I mean, not trying to be selfish here, but you like what you said earlier before we went on air. But wala ka rin trabaho na, walang The Voice, walang ano. I mean, don't you
Yeah,
think this is like a nice venue for you online?
maybe. I mean, right now, this is not the time to think about your income or at
Okay,
this moment. It's parang people are in need. Like every capitalism is kind of on hold at the moment. I think for just
but
about everybody. However, that said, I think once things have returned to some semblance of normal, or we're at that, if siguro if we find ourselves in that halfway point na parang we're not in quarantine anymore, things are starting to normalize again, pero it's kind of not completely there, and then people have to try and find a source of income.
right,
So siguro this is gonna open up possibilities for, say, doing concerts in your home that you kind of self-produce, or you do it with the aid of, or you can find a venue where there's no walang tao, that you can rent and have like a cabaret series that you can stream,
yeah,
either live, or you pre-tape it and then you send it out, and then that can be a source of income, which I think there have been artists that have kind of been doing that, or a lot of conventional artists learn to monetize their YouTube channels, and then yeah, and then people can do pay per view content. So I think there's possibilities for live
I mean,
performers to
that would
figure
be fun.
something else, to figure out something. Nah,
Yeah,
you
that
can
would be
already,
fun. For you, yeah. No, I don't think that would be far fetched for you because you've always delivered regardless of what the platform is. But it would be fun now that you said cabaret for it would be fun to have Gerard there too while you're performing. I mean,
yeah,
I saw your ABBA dancing queen, and like you're right. That point of view, I miss that because I used to take your pictures also during concert, and most of the fun I see is
yeah,
when Gerard is actually enjoying himself. People don't see it because
correct.
it's back turned.
Yeah, the
So
only audience he has is the orchestra.
and us in the production. Wait,
Correct.
muna, how is Gerard and your mom during the quarantine? Have you seen each other?
No, well, of course not. No, because nga, none of us has left our respective homes. Well, Gerard's in Kuala Lumpur.
Okay, I think
Because he after Dubai, he headed there for concerts. There were some scheduled shows. However, he was there, then everything started getting canceled, so hindi na siya nakauwi. Um, I'm here in my house in Manila. My mom is in her house in Manila. And salamat na lang, she has no driver that stays with her. So she can't go out. So the reason I say salamat na lang is I hear from my friends na lahat sila, they're like, hi, my parents, they're so pasaway, they want to go out. Parang they're not following this quarantine. Pinapagalitan yung ng anak, yung
yung
nanay at saka
magulang.
yung tatay, yung magulang. So I'm like, well, I don't have that problem because number one, my mom's praning. Number two, she has no driver. So
Okay
she's
naman.
she's just in her house. She watches her Korean soap
Or
operas on either
ano,
YouTube or on TV or however. What so she has a TV, like she normally has a TV because she gets stuff for free, because that's her, you know she does things and then she gets things for free. So wais din yung nanay ko. So she has a TV in her den, that's for a specific purpose, and then there's another TV I think in her office for a specific purpose. So she's she's savvy like that. But there was one day that she called in a panic.
oh,
She called in a
why?
panic because she pressed the button of the remote of her one TV, and she's like, "Anak,
Akala
anak, my soap opera, it's not anymore there." I'm like, "Okay, take a picture. Please take a picture of your remote control. Send it to me." I'm like, "I will figure it out for you." So she does. At least she knows how to take a picture on something, send it to me. I'm like, do you see that button at the top, the one that's in between the orange and the red? She's like, yeah,
Jordan.
press that. Okay, nothing yet, anak. Press it again. And then the picture appears. She's like, ah, there it is. Thank you. She was so happy. I don't think I have ever heard her that happy, like ever in my life. So,
Wait, wala
yeah.
siyang kasama in the house, like an assistant or
No,
or
no.
wala.
The lady that normally assists us, she's also in her house for quarantine, but
Oh no.
she has help. She has a helper, who helps with her, cooking the meals and cleaning the
Uh,
house. But yeah, I mean, even when I'm at photo shoots with you, she's there on your couch. She's watching the soaps on her
yeah.
phone. She doesn't even watch the session anymore. It's like she's there. It's like, it's Raymond. I can relax. I'm going to watch my soap.
Oh, that's always a compliment. But
Yeah.
wait, can I tell you a secret? You said I met you Manila Hotel, but in my memory, the first time I actually did a shoot with you is in my studio, except for
Okay.
bio. That's kind of weird because I think I'm getting mixed
No,
up. I'm
bio
so
was way after na.
way after now. In the studio, and then I was so nervous about you coming and your mom coming. For whatever reason, I was so nervous about your mom more than you because I said, "Maganda naman si Lea. I can't make a mistake." So that's given. But I'm more nervous of Ligaya, so Salonga because of all these preconceived images and then
Right. And
stories
her
about her
reputation. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She
and
comes
her
with a
reputation.
reputation kasi. My mom has her own
But
reputation.
But what I did was this. So I talked to everybody, said, nobody talks to her. Sabi ko, wala makipag-usap kay Mrs. Ligaya, ako makipag-usap sa kanya. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, kailangan pagpasok ni Ligaya, malinis ang banyo kasi ang lahat ng nanay, pag may anak na babae, dapat malinis ang banyo. Mabango yan, dapat. Number 2, dapat may nagto-toast na tinapay na may butter. So tinignan ako ng mga angels ko, Sir, butter na may toast. Oo, pag mabango na amoy nila, ibig sabihin parang bahay. At kailangan may coffee na ano. So, ginawa ko to lahat. I'm speaking Tagalog kasi mga buwis itong mga comment, nagdudugo na daw ang ilong nila. Sa English na.
Okay.
Okay.
So, it's not even difficult English, but anyway.
I know. Hindi pa nga kami highfalutin. Mamaya, mag-Mary Poppins, kami, supercalifragilistic.
Oh yeah, there are conversations for that. There are certain streams where you have to bring out all of your 500 words, but this is not that.
This is not. Kwentuhan lang to, mga kaibigan, para maaliw kayo. Anyway, pagpasok ng nanay mo, ang first sinabi niya, mabango ang banyo. Sabi niya, yes, point 1. Tapos, parang bahay. Nagto-toast ka o nagko-coffee? Yes, ma'am, para sa inyo yan, case you want
coffee. This is like the old studio pa, di ba?
Yeah, the old studio. Tapos sabi niya, magaling. I forgot about my mom. Sabi ko, Ma, I forgot to brief you. My mom comes in and said, kausapin mo si Ligaya kasi baka magalit yan at all these little things that you hear about her. So my mom goes to her and talks to her, and then my mom says, Ligaya, aalis ako, iwanan ko si Raymond kasi ayoko istorbo ako. Pupunta ako ng Rustans. Rustans? Sabi nung nanay mo, Lea, bahala ka na dyan. Pupunta kami ng nanay ni Raymond. Sabi ko, what? Yun lang yun? Sabi ko, magic word. And then on, that was, when she was alive, they would talk.
They will always talk and
they would not care what's happening. In the end na lang when she was bakit may cleavage, Lea? Sabi ko naman, may susuho talaga siya kaya may cleavage.
God was kind. Yeah, God has blessed me with a cleavage, so I'm not complaining. I mean, not at all complaining.
Honey, you have very good cleavage. Yung makukulit natin. Wilma doesn't wants to be noticed. Lea Salonga wants to be noticed. Sino pa kayo dyan? Jennifer is already saying hi from Paris. We said hi.
Yes.
Sino pa? Yung mga kaya ko lang batiin kasi sometimes your names are so confusing. Seryoso.
Like minsan confusing yung pangalan. Bakit?
Kasi when they have Facebook accounts, they jumble up their name to spell it backwards. Sabi ko, bahala kayo, hindi ko kayo mabasa.
Yeah. I just had to report a few people on Facebook kasi parang parang I don't know if it's impersonation or if it's hindi kasi before I've already said if this is a fan page, paki-label niyo na lang na fan page to para hindi ko i-report. Kasi yung iba minsan parang somebody actually, or yung parang nagpapanggap sila na ako. And so, a friend of mine got a screenshot of one of these imitators.
And
then, of course, my friend sends it to me. I'm like, my God, yung English pa lang, natisod na eh. So it's like, that's usually a good tell. Na parang, I try to be as meticulous. Kailangan mabusisi ako sa grammar. Even if it's Tagalog, punctuation, everything has to be in its place. I tend to be a little OC about those things. And the easiest way naman to tell kung ako yun talaga o hindi. Both my personal and my page meron siyang blue tag.
Yeah, that's the confirmed validation of
yes, so confirmed siya, so that means those are authentic accounts. So may authentication na siya. There's a little stamp that's blue. Kung wala yung if you don't see a blue stamp, pretenders sila. So report should report.
Kung talagang fans kayo ni Lea Salonga, yun ang hinihingi ni Lea ngayon. Total, wala tayong ginagawa. Umikot kayo sa social media, tata makuha yung fake, i-report nyo kaagad.
Yeah.
Kami naman nagko-comment. Sandali, can I scroll down? Raymond Francisco. Hello, Raymond.
Hey!
You know Raymond, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God. I'm having a hard time. But sana, mag-shoot na tayo with Lea. Did you shoot with him na natin?
RS?
Yeah, RS.
Yeah, he was an AD for a commercial that I did.
No.
He
RS, gusto natin. Hindi ba pwede sila sa frontline? Ay, front row?
they'll have to talk to my mom.
Ay, nga pala, Tiligaya nga pala. We miss you,
Yes.
RS. Bettina is watching. Hi daw.
Aspillaga?
Yes. Wait,
Ah.
can you read the comments pa rin? Are you on the phone
No,
or on your...
I'm on my phone. So I cannot see any of the comments. I can just see you.
Oh my God. Tito Jason, can you help us administer the question? Kasi man, Oliver Bata is another fan. Siya po ang nag-start ng fan mo from all around the outside Metro Manila. Siya naman yun. Who else is
Okay.
here? Well, you know what? Ang daming lumalabas, hindi ko mabasa. Sige, I'll let you guys settle first. Another question they want to ask. Oh, this is an interesting one I found. One of those submitted. People have always interviewed you, whether or not for Broadway, for shows, or just for personal things. What is one question? I love this. What is one question? Contestant number 5. What is one question that has never been asked? I love this. That you are dying to answer. Oh, in fairness,
Oh.
Talino.
Hmm. I don't know.
Really? But that interesting question. In fairness to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I've been interviewed by a lot of people. I don't think that there's anything because I normally naman I try to stay away from there are certain topics I will try to stay away from. I stay away from religion, I stay away from politics. I mean, those are the two things anyway that you have to
Uh,
kind of stay
that
away from
stay
anyway,
away.
just as a rule.
Well,
Um yeah, but yeah, I think but besides that, um I think like people like Boya Bunda and yeah,
I've asked
I
almost.
think I've been asked just about everything.
In fairness,
Um, yeah, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, and I try not to answer anything that gets too personal because it's not for anything except that there still has to be something in this world that remains mine.
that remains private.
That stays private. Um, for me, my public the things that the public is entitled to are my performances.
Uh-huh.
What I allow. It's I have to have kasi a demarcation line between what is public and what is private. It has even if it's a mental parang barrier. Na obviously there's a lot of my personal stuff that goes into my work because there's a lot of
Correct.
stuff that happens in your personal life na it informs the work. Na
Yeah.
yeah, like parang you have to dig into your baul of memories
Or
and
emotional.
experiences. Yeah, yeah,
Experiences
yeah.
and
Yeah, but then it's up to the public to discern what that might be about.
what
But that's not for me to reveal. That I have to have something that remains mine. That's just a protective defense. Na I think every artist needs to
every
have
artist
that.
should have also. Oh, yan. If you are real fans of Lea, at least narinig niyo yan sa kanya. Mga kaibigan, may mga bagay na gusto niyang private, may mga bagay na isi-share naman sa inyo. So, konting respeto rin. Kasi sometimes may mga questions na medyo alanganin. Hindi ko na sinulat yung mga alanganin na questions.
Yeah.
Lea, there's a person, Mary Ramos. I'm shouting out from Zamboanga, as far as Zamboanga. How are the people in Zamboanga? Comment section ka rin. Tell me, Mary, what's happening. So, we'd like to know.
Yeah,
And
that
then
would be
that
interesting to know.
if you remember him daw, she was 15 years old noon at ang choreography nila sa Wednesday group sa That's Entertainment.
Thursday
Daddy Wow.
ako. I'm not Wednesday. Thursday.
Thursday. Thursday. Ay! Ikaw ang matanda, Daddy Wow, hindi mo natandaan yung kanyang day. So, boy, I'm going to ask this question also. It's a very interesting question. If you were given a role, would you rather be, your choices are a nun, a mistress, wow, or a lesbian or an old maid? Because you've never done this yet.
Okay. A nun, a
A
mistress,
lesbian,
a
a mistress,
lesbian, or an old maid. It's like that's not enough eh. That's not enough. That's not enough information to go by.
oh,
Um,
siguro, if the story is good, I mean,
it's like whatever. I mean, I'll play I'll play whatever. Um,
as long as it's singing.
no, 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 no. I have played what have I played? I've played prostitutes. I have quite a few times.
Yeah. Oy, yun na
I've
yun, yun yung
played
first.
street urchins. What have I played? Somebody in an internment camp. I've played the goddess of love. I've played quite a few things in my and the most recent one is parang is a homicidal, yeah, a
Which one was
sociopath. So Sweeney Todd, ano ka ba?
it?
That was the last one. So
That was fun. I
that
mean,
was the best. So
girl, girl, I'm a
yeah.
fan. Okay, I'm fanboying you ever since, and I don't know if you believe that shit or not. But the point is, the first one that really that drove me to tears was me watching you in New York with Miz on
Mm.
both performances. And then your mom says, Raymond, manood ka. Kasi itong bagong role ni Lea, mapapaiyak ka. Sabi ko, Mom, Digaya. And I call your mom Digaya with all the love that means,
Ay,
that goes
oo.
with it. I said, Digaya, memorize ko na performance ni Lea, hindi na ako naiiyak dyan, kasi perfect na yan parate. Hindi, promise, pag napaiyak ka, lilibre mo ako. What? And I was crying like shit. Sabi ko, putang ina, ang galing mo, putang ina mo, I hate you. Tapos talagang, and then your mom was like this. O ano, sabi ko sa'yo, magaling ang anak ko. Oo na nga, magaling anak mo. That is the second to date. I've seen you in almost all your performances, and I'm Pintasero, but Sweeney Todd is one of those I saw. You are enjoying yourself. I see
Yeah.
your eyes. You are so. It's a different performance. I've seen your eyes, and I'm a photographer. I've shot you up close, and I know when you're actually in the zone. You're enjoying.
Ay,
Nothing can
super.
penetrate that of you, that persona when you were there.
It was the most fun I think I've had doing a show. I mean, I've had fun in a lot of the shows that I've done.
I'm sure
But
you
I
did.
think that was, I think, the most enjoyable experience. I mean, I got to work with some amazing people. I mean, yung photo shoot pa lang with Jet and Nyoy in your studio, my God,
That was
umpisa,
great.
umpisa na yon. It was already, Alaskahan was already starting. Um, yeah, it was already a good day. So I'm like, this is gonna be fun. Just these two morons are going to be a lot of fun. So
And you say
yeah,
that with love. You say
I
that
say
with
that
love.
with so much
Uh,
love. Yeah. Especially Nyoy, biggest moron of them all. No, no, I love him truly. No, he's no. The thing about Nyoy, he's one of the most kind people that
yeah.
I've ever worked with, and really mabait. And besides that, he's insanely talented. Um, he's also incredibly kind. So I think I told Bobby after the run, can any show that I do with Atlantis, can Nyoy just always be in it? Um, just because of his spirit, his talent, his work
So,
ethic, his and there's always a role naman for somebody like him. Just
work
because
ethic
he's just that versatile. It's
work
he's
work ethic ba
ridiculous.
or fear of Bobby Garcia yung sa
No,
kanya?
I think it's both. No, but no, seriously, and Bobby kasi revealed this na parang this is how Nyoy works, and he's like, okay, I have done. This is Bobby speaking. Like I've done so many shows with him. This is what he does. He'll do something. He'll do something in the rehearsal room, and he'll just throw all kinds of stuff out, trying all sorts of different things. But then Bobby will have a specific direction. For Pirelli, I think he wanted something specific. I don't know what it is because I'm not always privy to the conversations that they're gonna have. Hindi naman ako
Yeah.
nakikialam kung ano yung nagiging usapan nila. So Nyo is like, okay, let me go home. Let me go home. I'll come back tomorrow with something. So so this is what I mean by his work ethic. He'll go home, and I'm guessing he tries all sorts of stuff at home. And plus, his wife is a theater
It's
actor also, who was also in Sweeney.
oh,
So I'm sure I don't know if he tries all this kinds of stuff with her, in her presence, with her giving feedback. I don't know it. So that's the stuff na hindi ko alam kung anong ginagawa. Because everybody has their own process. So he has his own. Pagdating niya the next day, rehearsing a scene of his, meron ng something na a directive that Bobby gave him, na parang there's a direction that Bobby will give, and parang he already incorporates it
into
his
the director.
performance and into into what he's doing. And then Bobby's like, and then of course Bobby will make him Alaska. Relentless. Bobby
No,
will always make all the guys always Alaska. The girls not so much. Um, but the men in his shows, lahat yan, without exception, laging ina-Alaska yan. Especially kung baguhan ka. Um, and so yeah, it's he comes in and he comes in with ideas, he comes in with choices, he comes in with a fully fleshed out character. Na you don't really have to babysit him too much kasi he'll come in already kind of trying all kinds of things, and it's because the rehearsal room has to be a safe space na parang it's the proverbial thing that you could just throw things against the wall. Ano kaya yung didikit? What's gonna stick to the
plastic,
wall
yeah.
today? So I try out things. He'll try out things. Um, and there's no such thing as wrong in the rehearsal.
The
There's no such thing
combination,
as wrong kasi you have to try out all sorts of things, kung ano yung tama, kung ano yung mali, kung ano yung kung swak sa vision ni Bobby. You have to try everything. And it's a
pero
safe
maganda
space eh.
you, Jet, and Noy, you guys are so good. I mean, not only you, everybody in the ensemble
Yeah,
is
everyone in that company was just ridiculous.
everybody is very good. In fact, I'll be very candid about it. When Bobby said we're doing We Sweeney Todd, I said, "Oh no, it's boring. I don't like the music. I don't like the." And
It's like,
I say it. I said, have you seen the movie? It bombed. It's pangit. I'm like, tapos, no, Raymond, I have a vision. Sabi niya, okay, fine. But, as a friend, I'll tell you, I'm bored. I'm not gonna watch it. And then suddenly, the opening pa lang, na kayong dalawa in the car, I'm like, puta ina, leche
it's like
ka.
the sexiest entrance ever.
Diba? I said, leche ka, Bobby Garcia. And then he says, I told you so. Okay, fine, I told you so.
Yeah, like the minute the headlights come on and then the cars
Iba na.
like
Oo, iba
going
na.
downstage, it's like, ah! The minute they were teching it, I wasn't in the car. Jet and I were in the house. So we're like, ano kaya magiging itsura nito? So they were teching it. Aaron Porter is teching the lights. Justin Stashu is teching sound. The ensemble is on stage and they're singing. Sila muna because the ensemble are the first people
Right.
on stage. Plus a few of the principals that aren't Sweeney and love it. So then they turned on the lights and then the sound. They're like, what the F is this? And it was the best entrance of any
Sexy
two
light,
people. It was so sexy. It was the sexiest entrance ever.
and to think you weren't even made up sexy. You were made up like
We looked
mendicant.
scary. The two of us looked like scary. Like
Hindi.
they're super pale and
Hindi, maganda ka pa rin. Kahit plastic bag yung nakalagay sa'yo, maganda ka pa rin. Useless ka ka.
thank you, JD Jasa, for the makeup job was incredible.
Incredible. It was very good. Okay, I will give a break first. People from as far as Australia, and then Batangas, Bicol, Catanduanes, Vigan, Davao, and Bacolod are watching. I cannot say your names kasi ang haba ng mga nag-ano. You're right, sumasabog ang comment section natin, so hindi ko kayo masabi lahat. But if you want your names to be mentioned, please please address it to Jason Vicente. He's in the comment section also. He's our administrator. So if you need anything that's, worth saying naman, wag naman, pakibati po ako kasi birthday ko. Lahat kayo, mga 600 na kayo nagpapabati ngayon ng birthday.
Happy birthday na lang sa inyong lahat.
Kahit hindi nga nila birthday, sabi ko, gago tong isa, kilala ko to, hindi naman niya birthday, nagpapabati lang. Baliw. What is Hopia? That's the thing. It's recurrent in all the comments. Hopia, Hopia, Hopia. What's Hopia? Hopia
Okay.
Nation.
Okay. Hopia is, you know how Philippine slang is ever evolving. So Hopia is derived from the word hope, as in asa.
Asa
I
ka
think
pa.
umaasa. So I think there are a lot of fans kasi of Aga Mulak and myself na umaasa na gumawa kami ng isa pang pelikula para gawin ganito. So humohopya sila. They are hoping that we do another movie. So
that's what
you've learned something new.
Yeah, I did. I mean, that's why nobody say, kasi nahalata nila, I'm not mentioning anything about Aga because it's a tried and ano, but Aga's watching.
He's watching?
Yes, he always watches.
Really? No, I think he's
Yeah.
only watching because I think we know we're gonna talk about him at some point. So I think that's what
Oh,
he could feel
in
it. He could feel it.
fairness,
There was gonna be
in
conversation about him.
fairness to him, nanonood siya. Siguro pag nagkakape
In
siya katulad
fair,
mo,
correct.
sabi,
Eto no, he kasi he watched the Bayanihan. So
okay.
after I asked him, how long did you stay sa Bayanihan? So, just before Bakit Labis, he tuned in. Ang ganda ng timing eh. Kasi I didn't get an alert. I didn't even see that he came in. It was one of my friends who DM'd me because I get notifications. She
Okay.
said, Oy, he's watching. So, I'm like, ha, ganda ng tiyempo. Just before I sang Bakit Labis Kitang Mahal was when he showed up. But he left right after I sang Sana Maulit Muli. Ang bastos. Did not even stay for the whole thing. I'm like, I'm like, what the what the hell? You didn't stay for the there were so many great songs that came after that. Like,
Oh,
hey,
very
whatever.
good.
Whatever.
Oh,
How dare? Like, how dare you?
kunyari, hindi tayo live, hindi mo chismis mo kay Aga na nakakaasar. Joke lang. Other than that,
None, actually, none. I mean this is gonna sound like pre-prepared press release chuva chenes, but it's like number one, he's like really one of the handsomest people that I know. And he's aging pretty nicely. My
yeah,
preferred look for him though is when the hair is cut high and tight and the beard. It's the beard. I like him with the beard.
bagay.
Yung look niya dun sa First Love, his movie with Bea. That
Ay,
that's
oh,
probably my favorite look on him. Pag
at,
may balbas. Kasi he can grow a beard eh.
at lalaki, gusto ko yung look na,
Oo eh,
there,
parang like, ooh, daddy, hello. It's like it's diba? It's like he's what? He's over 50. He's turning 51 this year. So it's like, oh my god, you aged real nice. It's yeah. He looks great with a beard. Um so there is that. But he's just one of the handsomest people. But working with him is interesting. Working with him in Sana Maulit Muli was really interesting. We can talk about his talent. He's yeah, that those are things we already know. But the funny thing is, kasi, and he has an explanation for this.
which is,
There one when we were shooting in Manila, kasi when we were shooting in the States, washa choice. Everybody has to show up on time. And everybody knew where he was, and so there would be a service to pick him up. Nobody could be late. Nobody could be late for anything.
so
But
are
in
you
Manila,
still always,
ibang usapan yon.
why
When
is
we
that?
were when we were back here na. So when we were shooting here, the call time master would give us the call slips, would give me my call slip. Na
Alright.
meron ding phone call. It would be like, ma'am, yung call time po ninyo bukas alas 7 ng umaga. Sabi ko, ay, hindi. Sir, hindi po yun ang totoong call time ko. Tawagan mo ako pag sinabi ni Aga na on the way na siya on set. Because I lived in my mom's house in Acropolis. He used to live in Pasig. So our
There you
distances to the locations were parang magkasing sa traffic. We would be It's like we would probably take the same route to the shoot. So
go.
so sabi ko, on call lang ako. I will be in my house, I will have coffee, I will wake up early, blah blah blah. Tawagan mo ako pag on the way na siya. That's when I will get into my car and that's when I will go. So, yun ang naging instruction ko. So that's what happened. On the way na siya? Okay. So at least we would show up at the same time. Hindi ako maiinip on the set waiting for him to show up. Kasi I don't have patience for people who arrive late to work. If it's dinner, if
Tama
it's
ka.
yeah, I will give latitude. And traffic at the time wasn't so terrible pa. Um, Parang compared to what it is nowadays, it was
Yeah,
it was
yes.
fine. And
Yeah.
yeah. So it was very helpful. Na we would that I would make sure that I did not head to the set until he was on the way.
No
Because
way.
it was like, ayoko magalit pagdating ko sa set, magagalit na ako kasi late siya. And then we shot some scenes in Baguio. Um, I think we were staying in the same location. So nobody could be late. So yeah, that was fine. And
You
and the shoot
sure?
the shoot there was fun.
I'm sure kasi parang bakasyon yun with you guys, right? It was like a
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah, and I think, and we worked together well. The on-screen chemistry was palpable na kahit yung mga kabataan ngayon are like, we wanna see you guys together. Like, you guys weren't even born yet when that movie came out, and now you want another one. It's like, oh boy. So I'm actually very happy with the two movies that we did. So if we never do another one, okay lang ako.
Yes,
I'm
you're good.
okay. I'm good.
No, I learned from you when one of our conversations. You were saying 15 minutes before the said time is on time. You
Yeah.
remember what you said? Uh,
Oh yeah. Early is on time is late.
Early is ano again confused. So you said
Okay, early is on time. On time
early.
is late. So let's use Sweeney Todd
Mhm.
as an example. No one ever showed up later than 15 minutes before 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock was our start of rehearsal when everybody was supposed to be there. So, bale, if Bobby says we're starting at 11, your call time should be mga 15 minutes before is like the pinaka on time na yun. So, nobody showed up past 11:45. At
True.
10:45. At 10:45. So, everybody was there, everybody already had caffeine, people had a little time to socialize before starting the day, so that when you start the day you're already in the correct
Correct.
mindset.
Yeah, mindset. Lea Castro is from Dubai. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. They're saying thank you for making our afternoon worthwhile again. Naloloka na ho kami sa bahay. Buti na nakikita namin yung mukha mo, Miss Lea. You are a breath of fresh air. Uy, o kayo, nag-i-English kayo,
Ay,
tapos
no,
kung ano yung
not
sasabihin sa akin.
correct. Pa nosebleed,
So,
maniwala.
wag na, just read this lang. Ang ganda ho ng, ang ganda-ganda niyo, parang what is your beauty secret? Ay, nako. Ang sagot niyan, facial care. Sinagot ko
Yes,
na kagad.
actually, yeah, facial care center. But in quarantine, obviously, hindi ako makakapunta.
Pero 8
Um,
hours is still
eight
good.
hours of sleep is always a good idea. 8 hours of sleep, hydration, moisturize. And I don't wear makeup normally. I mean, today it's just kilay and lipstick. So,
Not
um,
counting kilay
yeah,
naman
yeah,
yan.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I just try to stay as makeup free, even on a normal day. Normally, nagme-makeup lang ako like on a set, like at a shoot. Um, in life, I normally don't. Kasi, why? My skin needs to breathe. And I also got lucky with my genetics. I mean, you've seen my mom, who's
Yeah.
80,
Grabe.
82 and amazing skin.
Pero, fixing pa rin ang skin niya.
Ganda ng kutis niya eh.
Kahit
Um,
maraming away, ganun pa rin ang itsura niya.
I think honestly that's what keeps her young. I think Gerard and I have had this discussion.
Really?
Um, he and I have had this discussion na parang because she's so feisty and she's such a survivor,
Yes.
fearless when she's one of those people who will start a fight on purpose. Well, when she was younger, na parang yun ang parang fountain of youth niya. Her fountain
Yun.
of youth is starting a fight. Like she'll start a fight with Gerard. So, yeah, and Gerard's personality kasi very similar to her. Um,
Siya
Me
yung
kasi
flow.
I tend to be non-confrontational. It's like I'd much rather not. I think I got that from my dad. But my dad kasi, if I remember, and I think Gerard's much closer to my father than I was, but I think when my father, I hardly ever saw my father get angry. I don't think I ever did.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen he'll pretend to like snap a belt, but it's like all bark, no bite, you know.
Oh.
Yung talagang nagagalit in my house is my mom. It's like, boy, here we go. But my dad, I've never seen him actually get upset or angry. Um, so if he ever has, I think Gerard might have been the one of the two of us that have seen it. Pero kung magalit daw siya, kahit madalang, kahit paminsan-minsan lang, it's bad. It's
Yeah,
bad. When he gets mad, it's bad.
yeah,
So
I don't want that side.
yeah, so I think that might be me. Na parang I have a lot of patience, but I can feel it when my anger is when it starts to bubble. Like not I can physically feel when I'm getting angry.
I've
It doesn't
noticed.
happen very often.
Yeah, I've noticed one. There was one instance wherein people were bashing you for something, and when the quarantine was starting, I got pissed. And then the better side of me says, "Wag ka sumagot kasi hahaba lang yung usapan." Did you come across that when you said something about stay at home, and then ang sagot ng
Yeah.
isang ano na you're talking from a privileged point of view? Gusto sabihin, parang tao ba kayo? That's the only reason to starve the virus is not to provide it a host. That's why we're staying home.
Yeah.
And that
And it's a
was addressed.
directive to everybody.
Yeah, that you didn't start the directive in the first place.
No.
So you might. So how do you paano mo din how do you deal with that? I can't even speak straight Tagalog pag ikaw kausap ko. So how do you deal with that? Gusto ko yung Tagalog. Gusto ko.
Ano
So
ba?
paano mo sasagutin putek? Paano mo sasagutin itong mga bashers at mga trolls na to?
Usually you just don't. You don't engage. It's actually a lesson I learned from Ricky Martin. He's like, don't engage. Just don't. And he said that I think his partner at the time had to physically keep him away from his phone, his devices when he'd get upset. I mean, there's always going to be someone with a contrary point of view.
Point of view.
That's just human nature. That's why there are Republicans and Democrats in the U.S., and that's why there are going to be two sides to a political argument. Neither side is invalid, by the way. Both sides will be valid. Kasi depende naman yun sa point of view, kung saan yung pinanggagalingan ng whoever's holding the opinion.
Correct.
I mean, I have to acknowledge, I acknowledge what the people are saying. Kasi meron naman, it was not pa-insulto yung parang yung paalala eh. So, yun, I appreciate that. Pero pag nag-iinsulto na, it's like, okay, shut down. I am not gonna listen to you because you're already attacking my humanity before anything else. And I tend to not listen to a criticism that starts off with an insult. It's like let's not even because it's not going to get anywhere. But yeah, but everyone in this, everybody's gonna go crazy. Everyone is privileged or not. I can only come from the point of view from which I can come. I can't, and I will try to empathize with other people's point of view, but when I speak or when I speak about something, it's gonna come from my own experience first, because that's where I'm sitting. That's where I'm, you know. But I do understand and I do realize that there are going to be people that will not be coming from not so much the privileged point of view, but from a position of being able to just stay home. There are people who can't.
Oh,
And I get it. People have to make a living.
you know,
Frontliners can't be home. People who work in
totoo.
groceries can't be home. If you're a garbage collector, you can't just stay home, or else
Yeah.
titigil din yung takbo ng society. So yeah, and I get it. And I think acknowledging that what people are saying is one thing to help to diffuse an argument, because it's not going unseen or unacknowledged. So there is
Correct.
that. But you have to also try and as difficult as it might be, it's like when I say something, it's like try to figure out, okay, where is she coming from? Is she coming from this privileged place? And I mean, if anybody has seen the movie Parasite, that is one
Yeah.
of the best
Yes.
movies that
Sample of privilege.
illustrates this point. Um, it's a movie that I would recommend to anybody, because it,
I
it
know those.
shows you talaga both sides eh. na parang there's this lady who's in the backseat of her car going, ah, this rain, what a blessing the rain is. But to somebody else, that rain was a curse kasi binaha ang bahay,
Umakyat yung
everything was coming out of the toilet.
toilet o
It's
sa
like,
inidoro.
yeah. So it's like if anybody who comes from a privileged point of view, or even anyone who isn't from a privileged point of view, should see that movie. Because then it gives you both sides of the
And then,
argument. It's an amazing movie. I can't say enough good things about it, and it won an Oscar for a reason, because it's enlightening for everybody in that film. It was an enlightening experience. You think it's one thing, and then all of a sudden, I'm not gonna spoil it for
yeah,
anybody that has seen it, but like the housekeeper comes back and everything goes to shit. It's like, oh no, and it's just
I know
one of the
it,
best movies
ugly.
that I've seen.
One of good storytelling.
Ay,
Um,
grabe talaga.
Very good storytelling. You know what? Where are you? You
I'm
see, when
I'm
it's moving, I'm dying. No, no, no. It's the comment section. When it's moving, I am dying because yan po. Okay, one of the comments I have to tell you, mga kaibigan, ganito lang po. Pag hindi nabasa ang question nyo, huwag kayong mainis at huwag kayong magalit. There are over 1,000 plus questions now in the comment section. Both now sa live at meron pa rin nagpapadala sa ano. So, huwag kayong magalit. Pangasinan, Dubai, Davao, Valenzuela, hindi Venezuela. Bulacan, Valenzuela, Bulacan, and the US. Uy, meron tayong taga-US is watching right now.
Oh,
Huwag
somebody's nagpupuyat. So it's about almost 1 o'clock in the morning in the
Oo.
US now. Yeah,
Ay,
so yeah, people are up.
wag ho kayong magalit kung hindi makuha ang question. Kasi baka joke time, no, hindi nabasa ang question namin. Hindi ho sa gano'n. May mga pinag-uusapan kami ni Lea that's interesting for her also that she never tells on a regular interview. This is a different kind of chica. So, she never does this normally also. So we wanna thank her for that too. There is also another comment here. Lea, can you say hi to the frontliners, the nurses and the doctors who are watching right now in between their breaks? Thank you po to the
Oh,
frontliners.
to whoever is on a break right now watching this, thank you very much for your service. Thank you for everything that you are doing. You are saving. You are helping to make so many lives better. You are helping to heal. And if you're not able to save the life of someone, you are able to parang to help make their final days a little better, or at least there's so much compassion coming from nurses and doctors, and you guys have one of the toughest
Yeah.
jobs.
Have you
Talagang,
seen, have you seen the one
yeah.
of the nurse in New York who was crying? There was a video about this nurse in New
Uh,
York who was crying after her shift. I couldn't finish the video. I got so ayan na naman yung umiiyak na naman ako just the mere fact that I was watching
yeah,
how hard
just thinking about it, that it's a war zone.
it is.
And I don't think it can't be understated enough. New York, because of the nature of New York City. I mean, it's a
True.
huge state. There's a lot of space, pero New York City
Concentrate.
itself, it's so ang daming tao eh. It's
Concentrate.
crowded. People are shoulder to shoulder normally. Ang daming nagkakahawaan. So the hospitals are just being slammed. Everybody is overworked. So
New
you
York.
guys are just kawawa talaga. The nurses and the doctors in New York City.
Virus natin sa Pilipinas. Ang sasabi ni Lea is New York na ito. Ito New York, meron na silang healthcare, meron na silang high-tech, equipment in the hospitals. Ano pa yung nasa Pilipinas? Yung mga nurses at mga doctors na, totoo to ha,
Yeah.
na stick na lang ang suot as PPEs. Yung raincoat material to protect them. Mas kawawa tayo. Kaya, sana after this, people will start thinking twice about sino talaga ang dapat tulungan. The people who are less fortunate, yung mga mahirap, hindi lang sila ginagamit as, I'm sorry, I'm becoming political. Kasi ginagamit yung mahirap as political votes, not as the real people that they deserve to be helped. Kasi,
Okay.
di ba? I mean, you use them for your votes, but now is the time to help these people who actually help you
Yeah.
to be power. So, guys, I'm not pointing at anybody or naming anybody. It's just that it's
Yeah.
a reality. It's a reality,
Yeah.
Utang na loob.
Gerard said something on one comment section in a whole different post. Just to be slightly political. Slight, very slight.
Ay, comparison po.
Slight lang naman. And he said the priority of a leader should be parang educating everybody, educating the electorate. Um, the thing that I don't understand is why it seems to not be a priority. And I have this discussion with you, I have this discussion with a whole bunch of people, and siguro sinasabi ng ano, we have to keep the masses uneducated or else they will not vote for us, or they will not
Or
vote
they,
for certain people, or they will not be so easy to manipulate. So
correct.
there is that. So for me, it's like if I was president of the, I think everybody has their thoughts of what should be improved. And for me, the number one, education. Education
Yeah.
in all ways. I mean, my father was educated. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure my relatives will come after me if I don't say this correctly. But if I'm not mistaken, he had a public school education. I mean, my father wasn't rich. Neither was my mom. I mean, she sometimes didn't know where her tuition fee was going to come from. So I mean, my parents both came from different levels of hardship and poverty, and it's people make the assumption that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. It's like, no, my English is just good, but that doesn't mean anything. It's not necessarily a reflection of my income bracket. It just means that my father was a lover of the language. He spoke
Correct.
some, he was English, Tagalog, Kapampangan, some Japanese. Polyglot, that's what he was. I am nowhere near that. My brother speaks a little more than I do. He speaks Kapampangan, Tagalog, English.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I need to catch up to the both of them by learning another language. So that's another activity for this quarantine.
Pero,
To learn something. But yeah, going back to the topic of discussion, I think if you provide a solid education for your people,
yes.
that's really the one that provides opportunity. And then it's not just money. It's the whole give a man a fish versus teaching a man to fish argument.
Diba?
Yeah, and that's, and then if you get into other political stances, there's reproductive health. And that's not always about contraception, ha. So it's that's the thing. It's not
Eh,
about being pro-abortion. I mean, it's not, because I'm not pro-abortion
yeah, but
at all.
it's the
So
Roman Catholic guilt that we have. It's been
yeah,
embedded. Yeah, so, I mean, sex becomes bad because of the Roman Catholic. That's why
yeah.
sex education. We have the highest pregnancy in teens.
And not just that, also the rate of HIV infection. It's
Also, tayo na number
high.
one siya.
Number one,
Nakakahiya.
hey, it's like, yeah, hashtag winning. That's you don't want to win that way. You don't want to be number one in those
Oh,
things. So for me, it's like, for me, yeah. If you want to prove good leadership, I mean, under the best of circumstances, under circumstances like this, survival is the number one priority. Obviously, taking care of the more vulnerable members of society. That's, you got to do that. That's no. But this is a unique circumstance. Hindi itong pangkaraniwang pangyayari. This is one of those things that happens probably once, maybe twice in a lifetime. So I never want to see anything like this happen again,
same.
ever. Because so many people are dying, and this is one of those things that you don't have a vaccine for. You can't fix it. It's not like the flu where you have a vaccine for it. Um, it's yeah, but in under the best of circumstances, everyone should have the opportunity and the right to a complete education without thinking, do I send my kid to school, or do I send them out in the street to beg for money, or do I make them work, or it's without an education. That's the one thing. If you have an educated electorate, then maybe the leaders that are elected will be picked for the right reasons, will be picked for their credentials, will be picked for, their contributions to society. Hit and miss kasi, the people that we vote for.
I know.
So,
Sometimes you get good credentials. They're good talkers. They're charmers. So sometimes you get swayed
yeah.
by.
Yeah, it's
But
and tends to be a popularity contest. It's about name recall. I mean, it's great for showbiz, but not always good for when it's time to get down to the nitty gritty of making laws. But that's just me.
which the follow-up question is, wait. I love your smile there. What we will do now, they've been asking for a photo on, sige, okay, we will give you the photo now. Ready? And smile. Looking at the camera. Ayan po, pinagbigyan na namin kayo. May photo na ho kami ni Lea. One more daw. It was too fast. Demanding kayo.
Sige, just
Ready?
count it.
1, 2, 3, and smile. Fake ng smile ko. Anyway, that's not the point. Kasi may question na, titigil ako sa question. Ang question ko, after what you just said, do you ever find yourself, actually, your followers, your influence in, in so many things, has it ever crossed your mind to be in a political office in the future? I mean, just crossing, just a teeny-weeny. Wala talaga?
Wala. It's
It would be a
no,
very...
and I mean, I have friends who have run for public office. You and I have friends that have run for public office, and the stories that they have shared, it's frightening. Nakakatakot. It's frightening, and I'd rather not repeat what the stories are, except to say that nakaka-anxiety attack yung asawa sa takot.
Oh.
It's that levels already.
You're talking also about
Na
security.
they that parang they came face to face with corruption. That parang yung naging intention nila, they want to get into the political arena to help.
Well,
To, and parang very pure yung intention. But then once they were in it, nakita daw nila na the corruption daw runs very deep. That it's really about power and money. So I'm like, holy shit, really? My God, so I mean, no matter how honorable some people are, minsan they come out of it scarred for life, because
of the corruption. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I can share you another story, but that's for another conversation. I was tempted too, but that's a story for another day. Question other than that is, what was the biggest lie because we're talking about politicians. What is the biggest lie you've ever said? Or
Lie?
the last, yeah.
What is the biggest lie I've ever? Huh.
Wow. For you to think, ako naman in
Yeah,
2
I have
seconds.
to. I have to think.
White lie for Nicole, maybe? Or you can't go here because ganyan. Wala, not even a white lie. My
No,
God,
because
you're
we have to be honest with her, because one, she's really smart, and
Oh, she is. Oh my God,
she is
unfair.
smart. That girl is a whip. And
I love her.
not always in the academic sense, but she is a deep
No,
thinker, and she is wise to people, and yeah, she's just one of those people.
but
Um,
I'm not saying it in front of you, not because you're in front of me, rather, but because you guys are good parents. You and Rob have raised her well.
Thank
I mean,
you. We
no,
try.
no. I've seen spoiled children of celebrities. I've seen them, and they have this bubble around and saying, "I'm privileged in this," but Nicole is not privileged, and
No, 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 no.
I
She's
love
not.
the way she talks to people. I love the way she actually is very down to earth.
Yeah, she's a great kid. She's a really, really good kid. Very
Oh no,
sensitive, really sweet. And the conversations that we'll have with her,
adult.
malalim siyang mag-isip. I mean, we don't baby talk her. I mean, sometimes we will, because she's my daughter and we're affectionate. But yeah, she's one of those people na parang, yeah, artistic talaga siya. She thinks like an artist. and she's a lot of fun to be with.
SD Rob. Rob's birthday is coming up, right? Am I
Yeah, the
correct?
20th. Yeah, he turns 49 on the
Oh,
20th.
any plans for the birthday? Of course, you guys
We're
are
in
going to be.
quarantine, so we're gonna cook for him. Nicole knows how to cook steak now. So
Yeah,
the only thing that he asks for is for her to cook for him. So the two of us are gonna go tandem in the kitchen, and we'll make something for his birthday.
playing Zoom.
And that's it. That's it. That's all we can do.
You can have a Zoom party. You can actually invite some of his friends in Zoom, and
Yeah,
I don't know.
he'll
Fun.
probably do that. While we're having dinner or something, he'll probably turn on his iPad or something, and then have his friends just just say hi or whatever. But yeah,
And give a toast. Hey, cow, you're turning 50 next year, and that
yes.
this shitty quarantine. It's not far fetched that we might not even be normal till that time. Do you have plans for birthday or concerts or anything like that
Well, I'm planning another, like one of the major ones for
next year?
February. Initially my mom likes doing them in October, but I said no, no, no. Let's wait until my birthday. Para we have something to celebrate. So um, yeah.
Not
So
this October.
already, yeah. So that's gonna
Not
be
this
in Feb.
October. Next year, not to 20,
Yeah,
not 2020. Yeah, okay. So
yeah.
that's
So
what.
even before quarantine, we said we'll do this night in Feb.
So at least let's cross our fingers because that's one of the things they're actually hoping for your birthday.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So one of the comments they said here, which is interesting, is it true that you're really a dork tuloy? You're really, what do you call this? Not dork, kasi mali ang
Nerd.
name, nerd. That was mali po ang nerd ang sinasabi nyo. Is it true that
Yeah,
you're really
dork is a little derogatory.
nerd
Yeah,
naman? Ano yung
dork.
sinula-
Yeah, dork. But nerd, yeah, but not completely. I mean, there are things that I'll nerd out over. I will nerd out over um, people's singing technique. Um, Parang like, oh my god, how is she doing that? And then I'll try to replicate based on what I hear.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like every singer is a potential singing lesson in how they do what they do. And if somebody's singing wrong though, and if somebody's singing wrong, parang I can physically feel that it's wrong. And yeah, I mean, if somebody's making beat it, but it sounds safe, parang
Yeah.
I won't even cringe, no matter how high the notes are. Pero when I hear na parang nahihirapan, even if the note is not super high, if I feel that it's, if I see that something is wrong, if I hear that something is wrong, then I feel parang I am so afraid for you right now, and that doesn't sound healthy. That doesn't sound, yeah, because as somebody that's had vocal trouble in the past, it's something that I've become sensitive to. So yeah, I know what it's like to have pre-nodules and to have those vocal cords that are not producing sound. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So and I know friends that have had trouble in this area. So it's one of those things. Yeah, it's something that that I tend to nerd out over. Yeah,
Speaking of nerding, video games. I know you play.
yeah, I still play.
What is the
Um,
video game you play now? Quarantine questions, though.
okay. There was a Final Fantasy 15 that I was just parang trying to complete. Like there's one quest that I'm like, forget it, I'm not even gonna bother. So I already deleted it from my console. There's a Final Fantasy 10 that I'm trying to slowly kind of, power up the characters in it. But I'm like, hi, nakakatamad. So when I get again, when I get enganyo to do it again, then I'll start over. But parang now just completing all of the quests in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This is one of those really really cool video games because you can choose your character. You can play as either a man or a woman. And
Okay.
okay, I've played this video game. I've completed the story like 3 times. And I've tried playing as a man. I've tried playing as a woman. I prefer playing the main character as a woman because it's there are preconceived notions that we each have about gender, that about man, about woman.
Supposed
Parang
to be.
you have expectations about men, you
Correct.
have expectations about women. When you see a woman doing these things, it's like, oh my God. Napapa oh my God ka. But with the way that the voice acting also happens, just how the voice actor does it, she's incredible. Um, when it's a man, it's like, okay, it's the normal Assassin's Creed. It's a guy playing this video game, and he's like your main character, muscles, guapo. The voice acting is good, but it doesn't feel extraordinary as when it's a
Because of
woman doing it.
it's expected
Parang
because
I don't know why. It's just our preconceived notions of what men and women are supposed to do, but maybe it's a societal thing. It might be one of those things. Maybe we are also shaped by a patriarchal society that you have expectations that,
yes,
yeah, of course the man is going to be
yeah.
strong and be able to kill, and but when you see the woman doing it, it's like, oh my, you tend to take a lot of gasps while you're
I
playing the
know.
game. So I
But
prefer playing the character as a woman.
but don't you notice the woman character in most of the games are so sexy or have more cleavage? It's kind of hard to move around with boobs that
She's
big.
in Assassin's Creed. She's not. She's
She's
not.
not.
She's not. I mean, she's sexy as all heck, but so is the man. They both are.
Ah,
They're both sexy. They're both equally sexy. They're both physically imposing and strong. Um, and both of them are skilled. Both of them are like, and both characters are both the male and the female are gender fluid. Meaning you will
ah,
you yeah, here's the thing. You will see the female character be in homosexual relationships and heterosexual relationships. Same with the man. You will see him in sexual situations involving other men. You will see him in sexual situations involving women.
wait,
So,
what's the name of Final Fantasy? What?
no, no, no. Assassin's Creed
Assassin's
Odyssey.
Creed.
Odyssey.
Odyssey. Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds interesting. Patty is
It
asking.
was it was like really interesting. Yeah, super super duper interesting. So it's something that if you want to challenge your perspectives on
This is a good
men
start.
and women, on gender roles, on play that game, because you're gonna find yourself going, oh my God, a lot of the time, and not from the violence. You can actually turn the blood off if you want in the settings, but
But the sexual thing
you
is
will find yourself going, oh my God, um, this is this is nuts. Yeah, you will find yourself saying that.
well, one person is asking, Patty's asking, have you ever tried Tekken 7? Maganda rin ba to, Miss Lea? If you,
No, I've
oh,
never I've never tried any of the Tekken games at all.
oh,
God of
really?
War is another good one. God of War is really really good. God of War for
God,
the
yeah, yeah,
PS4.
yeah.
God of War.
God of War.
Yeah.
I love the graphics there. All
Ay,
right,
ganda. And
the
Persona
graphics.
5 for PS4.
I know. Graphics are good. Quarantine questions again. Don't you ever get anxiety or anxiety because of what's happening now? What do you do to relax or de-stress yourself?
Ha. Okay. Full disclosure, I'm a homebody. I'd much rather be home than anywhere else. So
You are not.
yeah, I'm a super homebody. So I don't normally go out unless, say, it's a birthday dinner, or if I have errands to run. I don't make gala for the sake of making
Of
gala. I just I don't. Um, that's just not my thing. So if I can just stay home, I do. So
you.
so being home for quarantine isn't it's that's not the part that's causing me anxiety. It's what's happening out there, and it's the uncertainty of things. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
Staying home in and of itself is not an issue. Um, it's not knowing what's happening outside. It's going on social media and seeing pictures of people who are not following social distancing, and feeling frustrated that the sacrifices of so many people are going to be for nothing. There's that. So there's frustration. So the way to relax, listen to music. It's helpful. Listening to instrumental music is helpful. Whether it's classical, whether it's solo guitar, solo piano. Um, I mean, there's gonna be something that'll float your boat either on Spotify or Apple Music. Um, Listening to like standards. There was one doctor, actually, an old schoolmate who's a doctor. Um, he he posted the link of one of his playlists that he says is keeping him
Same.
sane. So there's a lot of there's a there's some really good stuff. There's Streisand, there's Ella Fitzgerald,
Oh, my favorite
there's like
project.
that kind of music that's old
I like
timey where it's not so as a singer it's not like so physically difficult to do. So because it doesn't sound physically difficult, your body just relaxes through listening to all of these people, and it helps to relax because you know that the vocalist is not having a hard time. So there is that. Um, yeah, listening to things that will make you smile and feel better. So yeah, I have this quarantine playlist on Spotify now. It's a public playlist, so if you'll be able to find it. I
I'll
posted
follow
it on
you.
Twitter, and I posted it also on Facebook, on my personal Facebook. There's 20 songs on there, and I'll probably just keep adding songs.
You go on.
Yeah, so it's probably just gonna keep on growing, so people can like hit the shuffle button so that they don't always hear things in the same order. And it's an eclectic mix of artists and genres. So yeah, so listening to music helps. I knit, so my hands.
Yeah, I see these comments that ano ang ginagawa nyo ngayon? Gumagawa ka ba ng sweater?
No,
Pakinamera pa.
no. My skills are not to that point. I make a lot of scarves because I guess the reason why I make scarves is because I like
For your
making
throat.
scarves for myself, because
Yeah,
to
for
make
your
it,
neck.
yeah,
For
so
your,
that I
yeah.
can double it, and you double it over your chest. So the scarf has to be a certain width, and it has to be very, very, very long. Um, and when I broke my leg, and which meant having to stay home for a long period of
Yes,
time,
I remember you did
so
some.
that prepared me for this. The only time I would go out of the house was to the hospital for PT. Um, so yeah, so I knit. It helps keep my hands busy, and it helps to kind of
Yeah,
relax. Yeah,
all right,
anything that you do with your hands, it
we'll go to a
helps.
fast, we'll go to a fast question because we're gonna end in a few minutes. Hindi ito whole day ha, mga buisit kayo. Sabi niya, pwede habang nagluluto kami, nandiyan pa si Rhea. Hindi pwede. Kaya
No,
sasabihin ko
that's
na,
not happening. We all have lives to live. Also,
yes, all right. We'll make it fast. Here are the questions. Fast questions before we end. Uh, have you uh, have you ever been out of tune at one time in your life? Wow. Kasi you're perfect pitch daw.
yeah. I think when my hearing is compromised, one leading man that I had, Peter Said, who recently just passed away from complications from surgery, passed away just before this quarantine was called. Um, so he said, because we were on tour with Cinderella, he was my Prince Charming in Cinderella, very tall, very handsome Australian. So he says, whenever you have a cold, you are ever so slightly flat,
Ever,
like
ever. Like,
ever so slightly flat. When my hearing is compromised, syempre, because if something happens with my hearing, everything sounds like it's ever so slightly lower than it really is. But when my hearing is fine, then I'm totally fine. So yeah, so it's happened. So when my hearing is compromised, then yeah, then
next
yes.
from Lichelle. What was the weirdest thing a fan ever gave you or did to you? Weirdest thing.
Oh, weird. Um, Not so much to me, but to my daughter. And this made me
Oh,
actually really, really angry. She was approached by perfect strangers because
oh,
they knew who she was. She had no idea who they were. I think they were fans of mine. But they approached her, they were touching her, they were, and she got freaked out
oh
by that.
shit.
I have not forgotten it, and I don't appreciate it. I mean, I'm a real stickler for personal space um, already, and I mean, so, but when you do it to my kid,
Ibang
then
usapan.
that's just permanent anger.
Uy,
So
hindi.
on my
No,
part,
even I'm angry at just hearing this now. Really? How long was
and this was during, I think, Fun Home. So this was about 4 years ago. So
okay?
she was,
That's
I think, she was hanging out with me, and I was waiting, I think, to go into the theater. Um, yeah. So she was gonna come backstage with me because normally she'll stay underneath the stage. I think in dressing rooms or what. Was it Fun Home? But we were in RCBC.
hi, Nix.
Yeah, no, I don't think she. I think I don't know where she is. She's probably playing video games or chatting with her
Um,
friends. But
Alangan.
but yeah, she came back to where I was hanging out, and she was frightened. She was scared. She was freaked out. She didn't. Ano ba naman ang alam niya? And I mean, she's not aware that that people do recognize her. As far as she's
True.
concerned, she's a normal kid. So that got me angry really fast. Um,
Siya.
and it's like the rules have to apply. It's like that you are a stranger to her. Wag na siyang lapitan. It's like don't
Oh,
go near
respect,
her.
respect.
It's
Distance
like
and respect.
yeah, there's just it's personal space. It's not even about social distancing. It's about common sense.
Uy,
And
hindi na common ng common sense. Binibili daw yan.
oh god.
I know.
Parang
Don't,
yeah, it's I know I mean yeah, we joke about common sense not being common anymore, but yeah, those are three young women who decided to go near her, to be strangers and to be creepy. So it's like, yeah, it yes, and you don't wanna you don't mess with the kids of people. I mean, never mind kung celebrity yung nanay nila, and we know how to get angry also when you mess with our children. So
it
it's
happens.
like, so please lang, please, yeah,
Alright, that's rule number 2. Privacy. Number ano is distance from Nicole. Utang na loob. Question number 4. What is the best kiss on stage or on film with you? Oh, at least hindi lang sinabi aga, at least sinabi both on stage or film. You don't
the
have to go to the
best. Okay. Well, yes, Aga's really good. Um,
sinabi mo pa rin yun.
well, I
Baliw.
still have to. I have to because if no, nobody will believe me. But yeah, he
Okay.
actually he's a good kisser on screen. Um, I've never had an issue. Never had an issue when we were shooting. I don't think I've ever had a bad one. Well, maybe.
Wow. Even your
Well,
first time in Saigon?
no. Simon Bowman's wonderful.
Oh,
I think I've gotten lucky. Most of them. There's gonna be always one or two that's kind of weird, but
alright.
yeah. But for the most part, I've been very, very lucky. Um, yeah, for the most part, I've been very fortunate. So there really isn't a there's yeah.
Oh,
Everybody was great. Most
all you
everybody was
actors,
fantastic.
all you actors and questions about Aga Mulak. Ayan, Aga na number 1, at least na-mention na siya. Question
Yeah,
is,
I'm sure he's
what
loving this.
yeah, I'm sure he will. What is the first thing you will do once the camera goes off? Boy,
Eat. I mean, in general or right now? I
normally.
mean, if normally, it depends. Because when a camera goes off, it depends. If I'm doing a shoot, obviously, when you tell me that we got it or we have the shot, then we check the shots and the monitor. That's one. Um, After a taping, well, I'm pretty consistent. Whatever you see on TV is just how I am
Actually, totoo eh.
normally.
There is,
Uh, yeah,
there
I
is
just
no
try to.
first one.
Yeah, I just try to stay consistent because I mean, it's too hard to to
Pretending
keep
to
a
be
yeah, it's too
yeah.
hard. It just takes up so much energy to pretend to be something that you're not.
Totoo yan
Um,
mga kaibigan.
yeah,
Ako
it's
na
it, it
magsasabi.
it's hard. So
Ah,
I know that there are people that do it. I guess to maintain a separation, or maybe they were schooled in a way na when you're in front of when you're with the public, this is how you're supposed to be. When
correct.
you're
But
in
no, no,
private, this is how you're supposed to be.
what you
But
see
I,
now today,
try to keep it. I try to keep it consistent only because it's like there's just so much energy spent.
napa, napapagod ka. Okay,
Yeah.
last week questions here. If we do a biopic of you, what title should it be? Oy.
If we do a biopic,
Biopic. Yeah, a movie about your life.
oh,
What would it
biopic.
Would it be Lea Salonga and the Miss Saigon or Miss Saigon and whatever? No, I doubt that.
No, no, I'd never do one. That's one of those things. I'll never do an autobiography.
Really?
I will never authorize a biopic. I mean, do it all when I'm dead. Um, but I would much rather not, only because it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. There are things that have to remain mine,
Correct.
and there are things that have to remain private. I would like to write a book about some of the stories and some of the things that my mom has been through, because she's had a much more interesting life. Um,
That-
yeah,
That's
just yeah, and I mean that it's nothing that she hasn't talked about publicly or among friends. Um, Obviously, the stories will have to be curated, but it's more of just more about her childhood, because she was a scrappy, had to survive. I mean, somebody that has seen World War II up close and personal. You know, she knows what it's like to be on the wrong end of a bayonet. She knows what it's like to have
oh,
to survive those. I mean, her stories are of growing up are really really interesting. So those are the things that I kind of want to make sure I document and put down. So those can be passed on. I probably won't ever publish anything until she's, para at least walang ko kontra. So that at least she can't come after me. Um,
oh,
but
matagal pa yung libro na
yeah,
yan.
but yeah, it's gonna be a while. It's gonna
It's gonna
be
be a matagal pa yun.
a good long while, because I think ang lakas niya eh. So she's gonna be around. She's gonna be around for a long time yet.
Oh my gosh, the only complaint I get from her is, pwede ba yung banyo mo on the same floor? But her climbing up the stairs doesn't care actually. All right,
And
last week.
they're not super steep stairs anyway. So
No, that's what keeps her, energetic. I love her
yeah,
energy.
she has stairs in her house. So I don't understand why.
Malambing. She makes lambing. You know that, right? And that's
Well,
her
to you,
form.
yeah.
Yeah, she does. I worry when she doesn't do these things. When she doesn't get angry, kunyari with me, that's when I know something's wrong. Last three questions to make it fast. Have you ever
Sige.
been to a nude beach?
To a
And
nude beach?
yeah, and
No, I never
actually,
have. I never have.
have have you ever wanted to
Not
or
really,
curious
no.
about? Not really?
No,
Wow.
here's the thing. A nude beach is not, it's not always going to be the supermodel type people who are going to be there. You're gonna
Correct.
you're going to find all sorts of, all kinds of humanity. And I mean, kudos to the people who enjoy that sort of thing. I mean, you're far braver than I would ever be. But I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah, and you heard it from her. Last two. Five artists that you actually follow on Spotify, IG, or FB.
Oh,
Top.
I follow a lot of the RuPaul's Drag Race drag queens, so I follow the show, and I follow a whole bunch of the queens that have been on the show. Of course, I follow Aga. Who else do I follow? Isa Calzado, who I think you've had on the show. Um, I follow a whole bunch of people. I can't remember.
Okay lang yan. Top five na.
Morissette Amon. I follow.
Wow.
She's so lovely. She's just a lovely human being. One of the cutest, one of the sweetest young women, and so talented. She's ridiculous.
No.
Um, I follow a lot of my friends, I guess, in the business.
Thank you for following
So
me also.
I don't normally think about who it is, but if you go to my Instagram feed, I guess you'll see who I follow, and it's like a lot of people. So yeah,
And check mo nga, you follow a lot of people eh. And then you also, and thank you for following me, you actually comment on everybody also. I'm glad you do.
yeah. I comment on people that I comment on people that I know are friends who see it. Yeah, I don't always comment. Kung hindi ko masyadong kilala, or
Uh,
then it's like, this is gonna be weird
okay.
commenting.
Last question. What was the last song you played in your Spotify? Boy, they're
Oh,
curious.
it came out of that playlist that I made. But the I played that entire playlist, but the one that I really enjoyed listening to was "Don't You Worry About a Thing" from
By
the Tori Kelly.
Tori Kelly version.
Yes, the Tori Kelly version. It's incredible. She is just so good. So yeah, so that's
That's it.
probably the last one that I gotten to play. Of course, the last one on that playlist is "I Will Survive." That's the last song for now.
Pareho tayo. Yeah, which one? The Gloria Gaynor
Of
version?
course, the Gloria Gaynor version.
Of course, because I have this thing. 5 o'clock after this, I have to prepare for another show also later in the evening, Boys Night Out. But at 5 o'clock, I go to my rooftop patio. I play "I Will Survive" for my neighbors at
Okay.
high volume, and then they see me dancing like shit there, and then they just laugh. I said, "Oh, at least napatawa ko kayo for 5 minutes within that Gloria Gaynor song."
Right?
Guys, I'm sorry, but Leia cannot be with us forever. That's it for her. Say thank you. Write your comments there. We will repost our show again after this because it will be, she can repost it on her page. You will watch again and comment. At sa mga tangang nanonood na sinabing nagko-comment, patiin niyo po ako. Tapos na ho yung show. Hindi na kayo mababate pag wala na yung live. Do you know may mga ganun? Ako
Seriously?
na nagsasabi. Ako na po ang nagsasabi, huwag kayong magpabati kung nanonood kayo ng replay or pre-tape na po. Kasi hindi ko mangyayari yon.
Yeah.
Pinagalitan tuloy ako ni Tito Jason, huwag ka masungit. Hindi ako masungit. I'm just saying what's the space. Thank you. Last words before we say goodbye to everybody.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
I love
Um,
you. Thank you for making
uh, oh yeah, of course. Um, to everybody that's in quarantine, just let's all try to be as patient as possible. Let's all try to find stuff to do. If anything, it may just spark some new resourcefulness gene in your body. Um, if you've never done origami, this is a pretty good time to start. Um, if you have any, not naman Lego, but if you have like a brick sets, Lego or otherwise, I mean, you can do that. If you're
Yeah.
into crafting, if you're into knitting or crochet, if you're into yoga, this is a good time to start, to keep up with your practice. Yeah, this is the time for us to have patience and have faith that we will all come out of this. There is an after to this.
There
Um,
is.
there is, and I mean, just look at how life has continued after the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. There was
World
that
War.
also, or
Oh,
even World War I and World War II.
oh,
Um, life does go on. I
continue.
mean,
Yeah, life will go
and
on.
we have to hold on to the faith that life will go on, that we will return to some semblance of normal, and
Normalcy. No
that
matter right?
and that we will get to see our friends again. We will get to hug and kiss and hold the hands of the people that we love that aren't with us. Um,
True.
yeah. So I think we just all have to hang in there. Um, this is tough. Everyone without exception,
True.
regardless of social class, is going through something tough. And whether you call them privileged or not, I mean, you don't know what another person is going through.
True.
And yeah, and it's at best, I think, if we all try to exercise kindness and empathy towards everybody else, and that's all we can do in this time. And also in our daily prayers, be thankful for the people who are out there, braving this virus because they don't have a choice and they have to keep things running. To all our essential workers,
Thank you, the nurses and the
thank you
doctors.
for
We
nurses, doctors,
love you.
grocery workers, garbage collectors,
Security men. Every,
custodians, every security
wonderful.
people,
Yes. Keep
people that are
safe.
keeping us safe, keeping people who are keeping stores running, pharmacies.
Yes. Pharmacies and
Basta
grocery.
every sort of essential service and every person working in essential services. Thank you.
Thank
Um,
you.
try to stay well, try to stay stress-free kasi naapektuhan din yung immune system under stress, under pressure. Um, and may God's protective blessings be upon you.
Are you familiar with Donnie and Marie?
Of course. I grew
Uh,
Gerard and I grew up on them.
Same.
So,
And this is how I normally end it. Ang tapang ng loob ko, pero pagpasensya na.
go! Kaya mo yan, kaya
Hmm,
mo yan.
may tomorrow. Shit, patay. Lea
Keep,
Salonga. Be a perfect day.
may you find love and laughter along the way.
May
May
God
God
keep
keep you in
in.
his tender care till he brings us together again.
Good night, everybody. I want to say that. Good night, everybody. Peace out.
uh, Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.